Good morning, everybody, and thank you to everyone whose attendance here on this Wednesday, July 30th, 2014. The majority of Chicago's population is over 60% minority. And when you add the number of women to that equation, the numbers are dramatically higher. Regardless of these numbers, minorities and women have faced significant discrimination in the past as it pertains to public contracts. In response to this, the City of Chicago and its sister agencies have set up specific participation goals for minorities and women-owned businesses. Even though our great city has made advancements to help ensure that minority women-owned businesses are getting their fair share of the business, year after year, department by department, agency by agency, we continue to fall short of these participation goals. It has become a common occurrence that whenever one of these Chicago's minority and women-owned businesses feel that they've been subject to what they believe to be contractual inequities, they call upon members of the Black and Latino caucuses to investigate these claims. In response, we spend many hours calling upon city officials and commissioners for meetings, documentation, proof of noncompliance, but the reality is that the caucuses and its members don't have the time, resources, or necessary expertise to objectively determine whether these complaints are valid. That is why today, Chicago aldermen from both Chicago's minority caucuses are introducing legislation at today's City Council meeting calling on the creation of a new office to monitor minority and women-owned business participation and compliance in the City of Chicago and its sister agencies. The creation of the MBEWB Compliance Office will enable the entire City Council the ability to investigate, assess, monitor, and ensure that compliance is being met. An MBEWB Compliance Office will give the City caucuses an investigative tool and professional assistance it needs to effectively and objectively assess, monitor, and ensure that complaints are thoroughly analyzed. An MBE Compliance Office will allow the Black and Latino caucuses, and the full City Council for that matter, to meet its obligation to minority and women-owned business in resolving compliance issues and creating an opportunity for direct participation in meeting these established MBE-WBE participation goals. By eliminating the exemption for car-sharing organizations from personal property lease transaction taxes, the City of Chicago will generate additional annual revenue that can significantly fund an MBE-WB Compliance Office. That is why today I am both proud and excited to join with my colleagues of both the Black and the Latino caucuses to establish an office to monitor minority and women-owned business participation and compliance. And at this time, I'd like to call up my colleague, Chairman of the African American Caucus, Alderman Howard Brookins.
Thank you, Ray. This office is important to each and every alderman in the city of Chicago. Quite frequently, we are asked as individual aldermen by our constituents, what is the status of the program? How can I participate in the program? We hear from vendors, administration, department heads that there are a lack of certified and qualified minorities to participate in this program. And in trying to put those two opposing views together, this office is something that could step in the gap and give us the objective facts as to what is going on with respect to our minority set-aside program. Our program is one of the few programs in this country that has withstood constitutional scrutiny. And in order to keep that program viable, it is important that we constantly monitor it to make sure that it is not a farce. And so I want to thank my colleagues for supporting this. And at this point, I'll turn it back to Ray. Who else is talking?
Good morning. The fact of the matter, let's have just a couple of minutes more of silence if you can cooperate. We will be done in about five minutes. Thank you so much. Thank you. The fact of the matter that, and simply put, We need this ordinance because we have heard countless complaints by MBEs and WBEs, minority business enterprises and women-owned business enterprises, complaining that the prime contractors, once they engage in a contract with them, they play games, and they don't want to pay what they agreed upon on the original when they originally submitted their bid. And so, the city does not have the capacity to be able to monitor and investigate those complaints. And so that's why this office is necessary, so that we can go after those prime contractors and live up to their contractual obligations with the subcontractors and not to play games and take advantage of the MBEs and WBEs. Simply put, that is why we need this ordinance.
I'm going to talk in Spanish. Esta ordenanza es muy importante porque necesitamos tener una agencia aparte o que pueda chequear las quejas que recibimos mes por mes, día tras día, en que no le están haciendo las cosas correctas con la manera que firman un contrato y después cuando van a pagar, los contratistas se quieren hacer los que no tienen la memoria a llegar al acuerdo que hoy llegaron. Es importante y esperamos que todos los colegas de nosotros estén a favor de esta ordenanza. Pasen buen día.
Hi, my name is Ken Duncan. I'm with the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus. I chair the House and Senate. You know, it's amazing how we are experiencing the exact same situation at the state level, given that one thing that we don't do in the city of Chicago, in the county of Cook, and the state of Illinois is discriminate against anybody when it comes to paying taxes, when it comes to paying fees, when it comes to being good citizens, we're there. When it comes to being a good Democrat and being citizens who participate in our government in various forms, no problem with that. But for some reason, somehow, some way, we can't find a way to facilitate and provide access to the same citizens who pay the taxes, who pay the fees, who are part of this great city, this great state, to get an opportunity to develop their business. Some of the biggest challenges that we have in government is really the customer service end of things. And by that I mean, if you have a staff, an administrative staff, they should be able to facilitate and help educate and provide technical assistance for these vendors, big, medium, or small, in accessing their state government. And so today is a good day because our good aldermen are going forward with legislation that will make sense and that would hopefully encourage and get excited this administration to give all citizens access to an opportunity as do some of the other Americans in this city and state. So I would encourage our aldermen to stay strong, to stay focused, and to make sure that we all do the right thing at the city level as we're trying to do so diligently at the state level. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we'll entertain any questions. We're focusing on the MBWB right now, if that's okay, and we'll try that in a different court setting. The question was how the office will be paid for, and the answer to that is that the car sharing programs have been getting a nonprofit exemption, and that exemption will no longer be available, and so that will generate just under $1 million, and it'll go into the corporate fund, and there'll be more than enough funding to be able to set off an office for these compliance department. She has. She said in time. She said in time. But this will affect minorities and women, and as has been brought up, we often get the complaints from businesses that feel that they've been shortchanged or feel like they've been, not in compliance, and we don't have the ability to investigate their claims. So this will give us an opportunity to show that, if their claims are valid or not. Okay. Thank you very much.